Hi YouTube, very quick review. This is just to show you the Canon EOS M6. I'm recording on that right now. Everything's on full auto, so I haven't done any settings specially for this. Full auto. I'm using the built-in microphone, so I don't know what the sound is like yet. I'll listen to that later. I've only just charged the battery on this, so I've no idea what the results will be. I have backlighting, so that will tell me how it copes, first of all with focusing, and if I move and so on and then put this in front of the camera, we'll see how the dual pixel autofocus works. I actually have the G85, the Panasonic, which is a great camera. Let me just try that now actually. If we zoom in and bring it in closer, see if it focuses. Looks to me like it's focused pretty well, and then it's going to come back to my face. Now I've got the flip up selfie monitor screen, so I can see that I'm in shot. I'm not going to look up to see if I'm in focus. I want to see what happens completely out of the box. So you can see the quality I've set to full HD. This is on 50p European model, not 60p, so 50 frames a second. There is a 25 frames a second option as well. I'll try that later. Now the other thing I want to do in a moment is add some exposure compensation. I have no idea how this will cope with automated exposure with the backlighting behind me. I've chosen this particular setting deliberately just to see how the camera does. So I'm going to pause the video, then I'm going to add some exposure compensation, and I'll compare the two to see whether the camera does a better job than I do. So I've added a full stop, that's a +1 of exposure compensation. I'll have a look and play back to see whether this is better. I've no idea. I used the intelligent auto mode on the previous segment. You decide for yourself. Personally, I think even with a good system, backlighting can fool a camera, so I tend to like to use exposure compensation myself. So the thing is, the G85, which is a wonderful camera, brilliant stills, and superb video quality, including the 4K, really good 4K. The big problem with this camera, well, one, it's a little bit bigger than I would like for trips. The M6 is particularly small. But the other thing is the focus really, even with the firmware updates and tweaks and different settings, never really is quite as smooth and locks on as well as I would like. And many people on YouTube have said the same thing. Photo Joseph, Max Yuriev, a lot of the big names, you all heard this I'm sure already. So the G85, great camera, superb video output, but it is micro four thirds, so the M6 has a bigger sensor anyway. And the focusing, really, if we're honest, isn't quite up to the standards that people say you will get with dual pixel autofocus on Canon. I'm going to see fairly soon, but let me just experiment by putting some items in front of the camera, and I'll move the GX85 back in front of it, so we see how the focus switches. Let's do that now. So if I were doing a review of some kind and I was showing you the items, this would give you a nice close-up, and then it comes back to me. I just checked there, it's pretty quick to come back to me, all automatic. I've never seen it quite as good as that on the G85, no matter what settings I've used. The Canon seems to be doing better. Let's just have a look. If I was showing you the bottom of the camera, and that looks to be in focus to me now, and we're showing the back and the controls, and expose partially the background, my face there. It's still locking onto the camera, but now as I drop that, boom, it's straight back onto me. So from my point of view, just on this test that I'm seeing on the monitor screen there, it looks to me like the EOS M6 is doing exactly what I want it to do for the focusing. Would it be nice if it had 4K? You bet your life it would. The 4K from this little thing is amazing, but the focusing lets it down, I think. Unless you have a disciplined approach and you can lock focus or you handle it manually, which for casual shooting is a lot of work, I think. But anyway, let me know in the comments if you have a G85 or if you have problems with a Panasonic. Let me know if you've got an M6, what your experiences are. I'd love to hear from you. I'm using the kit lens, by the way, so this is just as it comes out of the box, fully charged. I've used the automatic mode earlier. I've now put it onto program mode and dialed in one stop of exposure compensation. I'm going to have a look at this right now, and then when I've finished reviewing the playback, I'm going to upload this so that you can take a look for yourselves. And I hope to see you on the next video when we go into some more details of the M6. See you later.